Hey, what's going on everybody? Bitverse Andy here, and today I have a video about how to speed up your gameplay and farm more efficiently in Bit Heroes. Whether you're farming on a gore during a Sardinex event or just being carried in World Boss and don't want to slow the lobby down, these tips will help you burn through content faster than ever. Let's get to it. Right off of the rip, I'm just going to start with the settings. There's a lot of settings that you can change to speed up your gameplay. Pretty much everything that has a load on your PC or on your device can slow down your game. Off the bat, I always zero out my music and sound. I always play on windowed mode, as well as turn your resolution down for a faster gameplay. We're going to turn off disable autopilot on death. Ignore boss, you want to turn that off. Ignore shrines, you also want to turn that off. Showing golden nameplate, I'm not sure honestly if that has much of a load, but I like to turn it off. I typically play with all of my cosmetics on, but if you are farming to the max, you should actually turn off helm, body, accessory, and mount, and be this barren hero. On top of that, your pet and main hand and offhand, you want to set them to cosmetics that are very basic and stationary. Okay, you see my mount, he's laughing, or my pet, he's laughing and he's crazy. You want to set them to something that's very basic and won't move around very much. Something like Gert. In general, the less flashy, the better. Same with your main hand, potentially just using a basic sword and a very basic offhand. Moving on in the settings, I honestly suggest just turning off all notifications. Just go ahead and turn all of those off. Those are just extra things for your device to load. Same with friend requests, duel requests, and world boss requests. Autopilot you probably want on unless you're an absolute speed gamer on manual. Auto enrage uses your enrage, helping your autopilot do more damage. Keep that on. Reduced effects is very important. You have this on for speed clearing. For speed clearing, you should turn off all of the battle text. Same with overlay status bar. World chat, this is a sad one to see go, but clicking off world chat is, again, less things to load. Same with animations, click those off. Auto persuading, auto bribing, and auto declining. I would highly suggest you set these up so that you're not constantly clicking persuade manually on like commons, rares, and epics, as well as declining duplicates. This will speed up your gameplay a lot. Decline merchants, they have actual scams of deals. Just turn that on. Declining treasures means you won't be using your skeleton keys. This is technically faster than using them. Hiding levels, probably a good thing, but we've already got world chat off. Tips when defeated, turn that off, and equip on result screen, turn that up so you don't accidentally get your equipment mixed up. Okay, that was a ton of settings, but fundamentally all you need to think about is this something extra for my device to run or calculate? If so, turn this off. Now, speaking of your device, I do want to give some performance and device tips. The first one is to restart your game every once in a while, every few hours at the least, because if you did not know, Bit Heroes has what's called a memory leak. And basically, when you are playing Bit Heroes, when you're running dungeons or raids, whatever, the more combat you go through, the more memory that Bit Heroes ends up taking, and it ends up bogging the game down. So all it takes is a restart of your game, whether you're on mobile or PC, and then you'll be back to normal. And if you guys are on Steam, you can go ahead and instead of taking your time to come down and click on rerun, no matter where your mouse is, you can just press the spacebar and rerun dungeons and raids very, very efficiently. Another tip is if you are standing in town or on Fishing Island, a lot of players will be loading in and running around, and you'll be loading their cosmetics every time you come to town. A good tip is either to hang out in your guild hall and just load possibly your guildmates, or better yet, go to your armory, especially if your armory is as blank as possible with no builds in the way, getting flashy cosmetics loaded in your screen. Speaking of the armory, I do want to take a second to talk about builds that can help speed up your gameplay. A very high power build will clear content faster. Think about the difference between one huge turn versus 10 small turns. Having higher power leads to quicker clears. There's also builds you can go for, such as Triple Extort, which is a very common build. In fact, I've got it here. That relies on dealing damage before the turn bars even begin to fill. Builds such as this also help you clear content faster. You can set each build in your armory to be automatically selected during a certain game mode. For instance, I want my triple X-Store build to happen every time I go into a raid, and I want my Witchem build to happen every time I go into an expedition. This helps me not only when I'm farming boosts, but during my everyday regen grind when I'm switching game modes. Super pro bonus tip for all the veteran gamers, by the way. If you have triple X-Store, please, please, please put it in your first armory slot. When players are using you in raids, it is an absolute courtesy to leave your triple X-Store in the armory slot number 1. So make sure you're not being that guy and keep X-Store in your first armory slot. There is also one forbidden speed boost that comes from tier 10 Melvin Factory, the Apocalypse set. You can see that the 4-piece bonus doubles, mount bonuses doubled. And you would think normally, like, okay, Andy, like, your mount gives you 5% in power, that's doubled, that's nice, right? But it actually also doubles the movement speed bonus. So if you have a mythic mount that has a base plus 50% movement speed, it will double that to plus 100% movement speed. So technically, the Apocalypse set 4-piece will allow you to run around the map as fast as possible, as well as when you're in actual combat, this 35.5x, you can click on this. Pro tip, by the way, always have this tripled out on the 3 out of 3 boost speed. But this bonus, 21%, 21x and 35x would actually get higher if I had been using the Apocalypse set, basically speeding up every turn in the battle. Now, while we're on the topic of movement speed, obviously you can use boosts and consumables such as minor speed kicks that increases your movement speed, by 25%. Obviously, the higher percent, the better. I'm on a Bitcore right now. You can see this gives me 500% movement speed, and in dungeons, I'm running around very fast, and you guys noticed my in-battle speed multiplier is like 35.5x. That is because things like my guild bonus 10% and my Permagore also gives movement speed. Now, if you are running a lower tier dungeon where you can easily clear it solo, running with no familiars is going to be faster. Also, when you're in dungeons and pretty much every game mode, pressing that auto button is going to move you along to the objective faster than you can find it and clear the content quicker than you hit manually. One thing you should be doing manually, though, in between battles, as you see this, you should be hitting continue. So there I clicked it. This time I will not click it. You'll notice how long it takes. Now I will attempt to click it after the battle. And there we go. You can see that was obviously a lot faster. Now, obviously it's only, a millisecond or two, but this can clear, but seconds can add up, especially over long boosts like a 12-hour Ultra Gore. Here's how slow the auto will continue. And here's how fast manually click and claim will continue. Very similar to going into dungeons without familiars is running World Boss alone. You can see here, if I run something like Netherworld on private, I am always able to just hit start, yes, start, yes. Another pro tip, if you're on Steam, you can hit click, then hit spacebar, click, then hit spacebar. That's another quick way to run ZLs. Being solo in a lobby is loading things faster. You don't have to load other people's cosmetics and skills in battles. And also just imagine playing with a manual skill Andy who takes their time during combat and just slows things down. With all of these optimizations, you'll be farming faster, earning more loot, gold, and gems in less time, getting the most out of your big critical boosts. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing Bit Heroes content. Let me know in the comments some of your own personal speed tips. I want to take a quick second to say thank you to all my current channel members, Twitch subscribers, as well as my current stream boss, Persuade You. Thank you so much for supporting on stream. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and until next time, take care and good luck with your grind.